All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lipoedema Self-Care with Kaz Windsor and the Walk with Freedom team. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. We are on the beautiful Gold Coast. Kaz is in London, a little rainier, apparently. My name is Emily. I'm from the Walk with Freedom team at Lipoedema Surgical Solution. Tonight, I'm joined by my colleagues Brittany and Stephen, and they'll be on the back end just helping us monitor all your questions. Facilitating tonight is the amazing Kaz Windsor. Now, I'm sure you have, but just in case you haven't seen Kaz's content before, we really encourage you to go and check it out. Kaz is a lymphatic reflexologist and massage therapist from West Sussex, London. And not only is her info and content relevant and empowering, she's also living the lipedema journey herself. Now, the way tonight will work is after our very brief little intro, because I'm sure you don't want to see me, we all are here to see Kaz. Kaz will be running her presentation and her demonstration on camera tonight. So you can pop any questions that you may have into the Q&A box. We do have a couple already that was sent through on social media. Now, we'll do our best to get through everything at the end of the session and answer as many questions as possible, just bearing in mind we'll be aiming to keep the questions on the topic for tonight. Kaz also has some slides that will appear intermittently, so screenshot those if you'd like to save them. If you forget, don't stress, we can easily reshare them. All right, also a bit of housekeeping, just so you're aware, tonight's session is being recorded and will be posted to our website for future replay. So if you would like your question to remain anonymous, just select anonymous when you submit the question. If you forget, don't worry, we won't share your name or any of your details. Now, also, of course, this evening's session contains information that is of a general nature. So we encourage you to reach out to your own healthcare providers for advice that is specific to you. If you've attended any of our webinars before, you will know that Dr. Chris Lekich, our medical director at Lipoedema Surgical Solution, loves to jump on and offer a message of welcome and support. Unfortunately, he is unable to join us live this evening as he's on the first leg of his ride across America journey, raising awareness for lipedema. That is what my shirt is for. I have no idea if that is a good shot. So he is on the first leg of his journey. Very exciting. Anyway, he has recorded a video for us just to offer a message of welcome and support to Kaz and those of you joining us tonight. So Brittany will just play that just before we hand over to Kaz. So thank you, Brittany.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this special care workshop. I'm Dr. Chris Lekich. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you all for being here. Usually I love joining these sessions live, but right now I'm in the deep thick of it in final preparations for my ride to Walk with Freedom. It's actually a race that I'll be starting on the 10th of June, a 5,000 kilometer solo ride across America, my own torture fest. And it's a massive undertaking for me and my team, but every kilometer is for women like you to raise the awareness. And thank you to Kaz, our amazing host. What a great response to your event. And we've loved the fact that we can collaborate with you. And for all of you showing up today, investing in your own self-care. If you'd like to follow my lipedema awareness journey, head to @Ride to Walk with Freedom on Instagram and Facebook. We'd love to have you there supporting us, supporting me, particularly every step of the way, in actual every pedal of the way, which will be somewhere between 900,000 to 1 million pedal strokes. Please help support me as well. And again, thank you to everyone here today, and to Kaz, enjoy your event.
Thank you, Dr. Chris Lekich. And wow, just looking at the chat very briefly, hello from Finland, hi from Brisbane, good morning from Ireland, hi everyone from Coffs Harbour. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We are so appreciative to have you all here. And now I will hand over to the lovely Kaz. Thank you, Kaz.
Hi guys, how you doing? Okay,
Well,
so
thank you.
today we are going to be doing a self-care workshop, and we're going to start the self-care workshop with a little bit about my story. So loads of you know me, loads of you probably understand my story already, but for those who don't know my story, there is a presentation, we're going to bring that up. My story started with a secondary lymphedema surgery gone wrong. And that surgery, I ended up with secondary lymphedema, which then turned into 30 operations. I had to be in a wheelchair, leg braces, knee braces, and I was in and out of hospital for absolutely years. I was finally diagnosed with lipedema in 2015 at St George's, and it was like a huge revelation. I'd had issues most of my life, and then the lymphedema kind of brought it to a standpoint. I was 26 and a half stone. I didn't know what was going on. I spent a lot of those years in bandages and bedbound. My mobility was stripped from me, and then I was under the care of St George's, and I went forward for funding for surgery in 2016, and I was turned down because it was cosmetic. And even though I had got every letter from every consultant going that was standing in my corner and saying, she needs help, she's done so well, we need to give her her life back, they literally stripped me of my life and I hit rock bottom. I then went to see a private consultant and I was quoted 58,000 for surgery. And that surgery then was just unobtainable to me, my family, and I just thought, there's nothing more I can do. And when you hit the bottom, you have to kind of bounce back up. And that is where Sculpt and Change Therapies has been born, because there was nobody, and there has been nobody like myself over the years that has been there to help guide people with self-care, guide people with how to look after themselves. It's just been a sea of absolute rejection and no hope. I became a part of Talk Lipedema, which is a charity, and they became my saviour. And because of that, it gave me the confidence to build a career and a business through helping thousands of you with lipedema. And now that business is not just in a clinic, it's online. And it's my absolute baby, and it's my passion to be able to help you gain your life back. And it doesn't matter if you have surgery or you don't have surgery, pre, post-op, self-care. And if it's not for pre, post-op and it's just self-care for conservative reasons, every single one of you needs to be able to do an amount of self-care every single day. There's a lot of speech out there that talks of nutrition and exercise does work. It does to a degree, but the majority of you have got congested tissue. And it's taken me years to understand that and to research it and understand in my own body what's going on before I can help anybody else. And the decongestion of tissue is definitely the number one thing that is going to help you on your journey with lipedema. Okay, thank you so much. All right, babe. Let's start. Okay, we can go to the main screen. So, why self-massage? Massage is so easy to do for yourself, or you can have somebody else do it for you. But what you're doing is you are making sure that you are creating circulation throughout your lymphatics. Not only that, you are helping your tissue health, and you are gaining being able to structure your tissue. And it can be as simple as 5 or 10 minutes a day. Self-massage has been something that I have used alongside dry brushing for the best part of 21 years, when I was with lymphedema, when I was diagnosed with lymphedema in 2005, the lymphedema needed to be massaged all the time. So it's been something that I've always continued to do, and it is something that I do in this clinic every single day, and I get my virtual clients to do it too. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a demonstration of self-massage, the kind of massage that I do. But before we do anything, we are going to open our lymphatics. It is vitally important. Can you bring that screen up for me, please? It is vitally important that you open your lymphatics before you do anything every single day. So by what I'm going to suggest and what's in my massage sheet, which you will all get, is the 6 points of opening your lymphatics, which starts with over the top of your clavicle. Okay, so you're over the top of your clavicle, and I just like to pump. So we're just going to pump 3 times. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're then going to come to just underneath your ears, and you are going to pump again downwards. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to go to underneath our arms. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go to the other one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're then going to go to the sternochyli, which is in our torso. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm then going to go roughly into my groin. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then under the knees. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you can see that that's probably taken what, less than 30 seconds. And so it's easy to do that every single morning. You have then opened up all the channels of your lymph, and we can now start to do you either using a tool or using your hands for some sort of self-care, self-massage. Okay. So when we start with self-massage, we always start from the foot. This is what the Sculpt and Change therapies guidance is. Okay, so this is what I've done for years, and as you can see through my legs, it works. So we start from the foot. You can either bend your leg underneath, your other leg underneath one leg, so you've got support, or you can keep your leg out straight. For me, because of what happens with my knees, I'm more comfortable in this position. Okay, so we will come down to the foot. I'm going to be using a massage oil with arnica extract today. This is a CoPro one. This is a new oil that I'm using in this clinic. So we're going to put some oil on. Okay. Now, the technique of massage will change with lots of different people and different therapists, but for me, I like to be able to lift the skin and bring the skin down, lift the skin and bring the skin down. The reason for doing that is because we are treating the tissue as much as we are treating the lymph. We do not go hard when we are doing any of these types of massages or using the tools. Your lymphatics are to the surface of the skin, so you do not want to knead in and cause any problem, which is why I have always stated you do things light and brisk. Okay, so we start with the foot, and we can just start massaging around the toes, because in my Windsor method, the toes hold a lot of area where the lymphatics are in reflexology. So we are massaging around the toes. You will have your lymph here and lymph here in reflexology. So we're going to be massaging around the toes and around the foot. Okay. In circular motion. So using your thumbs. It's a lot of using the thumb work here. Okay, so then we come up around the ankle, and you're going to use your little fingers, and you're going to circle round the ankle. You're also going to move your thumbs across this area here. Like I said, the lymphatics are here in reflexology. So for me, that's a no-brainer. We want to be able to open here and here. So we're just going to keep massaging here. And we're massaging round the ankle. Okay. And then we're going to sweep where we've just massaged. We're going to sweep up. And behind your knee, where you did before with opening your lymphatics, you're going to give it a quick pump. And we're going to go right the way back down to the ankle. And then with your thumbs, in kind of like a C position, we are going to lift up and bring down. So in circular motion, some of you will have seen me do this in some of my posts. So we're just giving it a really nice massage. And you probably will see the shape of my leg change in this session, because you will be able to see that by picking the skin up and treating the skin, the tissue, and treating the lymph at the same time, we are moving the fascia, we are moving the abnormal tissue, as in the lipedema, and we are also helping to metabolize your natural fat that is in your body as well. So we come up again and we pump behind the knee. And we go down again to halfway down, and we keep in that circular motion. And we bring it up and we pump behind the knee. So all the time, we've got this lovely, smooth movement, and you can start to feel almost like a trickling effect. So if any of you are doing this at home, if you're following along with me, please put in the comments what you can feel from doing it. So we get to the knee. I'm going to put my leg down slightly. We're just going to go behind the knee. Okay. In a circular motion across the knee. Be careful of your joints. And we're going to bring it up. And we're going to start sweeping into the thigh. So you always work from the foot to the knee, from the knee to the thigh. Okay? So again, we're going to go into this lovely circular motion, using one hand on one side, bringing it up, and on the other side, bringing it up, and then doing a lovely little sweep. We're bringing it into the groin. We're going to pump into the groin. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go right the way back down, and we're going to repeat again. So we're going to go down to the toes and start again. We're going to go round the foot. We're going to go round the ankle. We're going to lift the skin, bringing it down, bringing it up. There are a couple of slides that you can put up for the technique of this if people are wanting the slides, but always remember that you will get this presentation. They will send this to you. So pumping behind the knee and bringing it down, massaging into the side, really giving that some, and then into this one as well. Always remembering to keep the pressure off. We don't need any hard pressure at all. And then just giving it a lovely sweep. I brought in the sweep as an accelerator for the Windsor method through the reflexology that I do, because after the treatment, it really accelerates bringing the lymphatics to the nodes and helping it to channel through the body. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll go straight on to the second one. So now this is not just my lipedema leg, this is my lymphedema leg as well. And this is where this massage really comes into play with this leg because of the amount of fluid and inflammation that can collect throughout the day in this leg. So we're going to go into this. Okay, so we're going to start from the beginning again, round the toes. So this time I'm really going to put a little bit more force around my toes because I have got lymphedema in this leg. So we're just going to really massage around those toes and then around the foot. Using the thumbs. Now, I'm going to be dead honest with you. At home, this is all very easy to do in front of a camera this way round. At home, I probably am on my back and legs akimbo. I know that sounds a bit weird, but it's easier for me to do it that way. So do what works for you. This is practical for this webinar. The same when I use the tools and when I speak to clients and I'm like, just lay on your back, put your legs in the air and use the gun. That's the easiest way to do it. Okay, so we're going to be picking up the skin, bringing it up. So on this one, we can see the change happen immediately because it's eliminating any fluid and inflammation that is being picked up in this leg. You can see that the skin on this leg is very difficult to pick up because of the lymphedema, where on this leg, I can literally pinch it and pull it off the skin. This one, not so much. So we're going to go down, massaging all the way round. And then pumping behind the knee. And then down again. This leg, because of the lymphedema, I probably spend a little bit more time on. Okay. Then we're coming up. We're going to massage into the side. And into this side, and then we're going into the groin. Okay. Is there any questions that anybody's asking about the massage? Do you want to bring those up?
We have a few questions coming through, Kaz, as you can
Yeah.
imagine. A common one is how often and for how long do you recommend this technique?
5-10 minutes a day. If you can't do it every day, do it at least 3 times a week.
Yeah, great. And if you have clots in your leg, would you say it's safe?
I would say that you need to ask your health provider or somebody who deals with veins if it's okay for you to do so. In the slide, there is a contraindication that doing this across varicose veins, you need to get advice first.
Yeah, good idea. What about a best time of the day? Morning, evening?
There is no good time in the day. That's one thing that doesn't get spoken about with self-care. Do it when you can do it, and then that makes it easier for every single person. It doesn't matter if you do it in the morning, in the middle of the day, or at night, as long as you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. The best time is when it gets done.
Yeah.
All right. Do we start the massage from the foot or clear the top of the leg first?
Start the massage from the foot. You've cleared through everything through opening your lymph pathways.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different advice out there, but this is what I have done for the last X amount of years since 2015, and it works. My clients do this as well, but there are therapists who are going to have different routines. This is my routine.
Yeah, of course. Um, is there an oil you recommend for massage, for dry skin?
So, fractionated coconut oil is one of my go-tos. That's one of my favorites. And at the moment, I'm using a massage oil with arnica extract, which helps to soothe any joint pain, which
Thanks,
a lot
Kaz.
of my clients are finding very, very nice.
Yeah, that sounds lovely, actually. All right, Kaz, just a little heads up. We're actually approaching halfway through the session now,
Okay.
and we've barely scratched the surface, as you can
Yeah,
imagine, with the question.
I knew that would happen. I knew that would happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your legs. The same protocol is for your arms. I'm going to do one very quick, brief arm. So you would start from your hands, oil on, all the way around the hand. Using the other hand, you can simply massage in. So again, it's the same protocol, bringing the skin up, bringing the skin down. We're going to come up. Now, one thing that I like to do, I've got oil on my hand, so this is great. I'm putting it on my head. Is I balance my arm on my head because, as we know, lipedema under here can be very painful and heavy. So we want something easy. So I balance my hand on my head and I just massage into the skin and a quick pump into the armpit so that that comes down. And we're just massaging in that circular motion again. You're picking up the skin, bringing it down. And then come down again to the beginning, round the hand, round your wrist. So what you've seen me do with my legs, what you're seeing me do with my arms, you would do this 5 to 10 times. But that is in the presentation and it is in the technique sheet that you will get. So hand back up. Any questions on the arm massage very quickly?
Kaz, are there any lymph reflex points in the hand?
Yeah. So again, the same with the foot. So you've got your lymphatics, your upper lymphatics and your lower lymphatics around the wrist and here. So that's why I'm massaging round my hand first, because I'm hitting the reflex points. If that is something that people want, I will make a sheet of that or a post on that, and you guys can have the reflex points in reflexology for lymphatics. That's fine.
Thank you, Kaz. There were just another question. My legs, sorry, back to the legs just briefly. My legs are solid, so I can't lift the skin up as I can see that you are doing. Would this technique still work for me?
Yes, the technique would work for you. It would work for you doing it very, very lightly. The reason why you can't pick the skin up is because your skin is inflamed, and your legs are hard. This is something that I come across all the time. The reason for that being is the congestion in the tissue, which is obviously holding on to congestive inflammation as well, and fluid. So the more you do it, the more you release the problem that is in the tissue. But you need to do it consistently and you need to do it very lightly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we might just take one more question before we allow you to move on.
Okay.
Kaz, there was one more that was Sorry, there's just quite a few popping up. Okay, is this massage technique instead of dry brushing and the gun, or is it in addition to?
It's in addition to. So um, one of the biggest things that we've got in this community is a very big, huge issue with all the tools and all the things, and you need to do everything every single day. And the truth is, you do not. You can pick and choose what you want to do on a daily basis. So I might do massage on Monday, I might do the dry brush on Tuesday, I might do the gun and the brush on Wednesday. I might do nothing on Thursday, and I might do massage on Friday. You do not have to do everything every single day. That's not how this works. That overworks the body, it overworks the lymphatics, and it doesn't give you the result that you're looking for. It is a consistency with using certain things. And that's why I'm going to talk to you about the gun, the brush, and the glove, because in this clinic, those are the only things I want my clients to work with until they are consistent. And when I say consistent, that can take 2 to 3 months of solid movement with just those things, which brings them the best results. The more you add in the vibration plate, the rebounder, the fascia blasters, the cupping, the this, the that, your body doesn't know what the hell's going on. You have to decide what's right for your body. And what's right for my body is a consistency of using tools that I know are going to work. And I have put in to my presentation about the other tools that we all talk about, the deeper fascia tools. And they should not be used until you've got rid of the majority of inflammation in your body. So you shouldn't be using things on tight tissue. You shouldn't be using things on on tight, inflamed, congested tissue. You should be using the very light tools before you move on to using the harder tools. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I think we've taken quite a few questions. So if you're happy, Kaz, shall we move on to the next section of the demonstration? And then we will take more questions again.
If you can take me off the screen, I'm going to change the direction of the camera because I'm going to start talking about the tools.
Sure, Brittany, we'll start to pop the slides up now.
Yeah, perfect.
Thanks, Brittany.
Okay, can you bring the slide up for the dry brushing for me? Perfect. Okay, so the dry brush we want to use is a natural bristle brush with rubber lymph nodes. Now, a lot of people will just use an ordinary brush. What I have found works with dry brushing is the lymph rubber nodes, which actually work on your lymph. When you look at a diagram of how your lymphatics are, the brush works alongside them. Always brush upwards towards the heart. There's a lot of confusion around different types of ways of dry brushing. This is the way that I have done it since 2015. And there will be a video that comes up in a minute, I promise. I will come back.
I apologize to interrupt, Kaz. Would you mind pressing your video back on? I'm sorry to get you back up.
Oh.
We just don't have your video on. Slight technical hitch. We'll be back up and running in a moment.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kaz.
We're back. Okay.
We're back, everyone.
Did you hear me though?
Yes, we did hear that.
Okay. All
And
right,
we
okay.
do have the slides on, so continue on. So sorry about that.
Is my camera stuck?
Your camera's on now.
I can't see. Like, can you see? I can't see. It looks like the camera's stuck.
We can see you.
There we go. Perfect. Okay. So we've got the dry brush. So the dry brush that I like to use is the dry brush with the nodes, because this helps with working your lymphatics. I prefer working upwards from the foot up. But there, like I said before, there's a lot of confusion about how to work this type of treatment. You can use oils, you can do it dry. I prefer dry brushing, hence in the title, dry brushing. I find if you do it really lightly, so when I say lightly, we barely touch the surface of the skin. I do see people doing this with the brush. That's not going to do anything for you at all. But when we're doing it lightly, especially with the nodes, we are working on the movement of lymphatics around the body through the lymphatics themselves. Okay, so that's the dry brush. I'm going to bring up the gun. Can you bring up the slide for the gun? So when we use the gun, I like to use this piece, which is the crescent head. The reason for me using the crescent head is because I obviously use a fascia blaster, which you all probably know, but I wanted something that kind of mimics the fascia blaster, but was less invasive and was going to help break down the restrictions inside the tissue that was going on in my body. And this is why I came across this gun. I came across this gun in 2022 and it has never left my side. And I have the travel one as well. This is something that I just adore. It goes everywhere with me. I use it on planes, I use it on trains. The travel one is usually in my handbag. My handbag had to become bigger to equipped for the dry brush. I've got the travel dry brush with the nodes and the travel gun. These are things that I will take with me wherever I go, because if it's a humid day, if it's really hot, or if I'm on my feet for too long, I will swell, and I'm not prepared after 21 years of dealing with this disease and my other symptoms and other diseases to forego living my life. So I will take these things with me. The fascia part of this, which is the crescent head, can you put that slide back up for me, please? Is the reason why I chose this was because it works the fascia. So the fascia on a level 1, we use the gun and it really works into the tissue. You do not press hard. You do not have to go deep into the tissue, because we want to stay in the tissue, not the muscle. So this, used correctly, you work the fascia lines, the lateral, superficial, spinal, and functional. You avoid all your bones and you avoid the lymph nodes. So whereas we were in massage, pumping behind the knee and in the groin, and then again into the armpit when we're using it for your arm, with the gun, you do not go onto your lymph nodes. You just stay away from your lymph nodes and away from your bones, but you work the fascial lines. And that's why I've put out posts recently, because I see a lot of people using the gun and just wildly using it, and they don't get the results that they're looking for, because this is the true way to use it for your fascia. Okay, so we're going to move on from the gun to the brush, to the massage glove. So we're onto the glove. The glove is used for your lymph and for your tissue. It is a whole body massage. It was something that came up for me about 2 years ago. And the story behind it is that my mum bought one for me in Portugal, and I shoved it to the back of a drawer, and then I pulled it out in COVID and was playing around with it, and it's now become a staple in thousands of people's lives. And it is the cheapest piece of equipment, but it's so effective to your tissue and to your lymphatics. Apply light or firm pressure. It depends on how you feel with it. use it up and down with the strokes. Gentle strokes if you're using it for lymph, especially for lymph drainage, but it works completely full body. You can use it with oil or dry. It is something that I have with me if I'm going to the beach. This is the thing that I'll pull out. It's brilliant. It's one of my absolute favorites. And that, okay, you can take all of that off and I can come back onto the screen. So the gun, the brush and the glove I created as part of the Windsor method of self-care. So you use the gun first, you use the glove second, and you use the brush third. You use the gun for your tissue, you use the glove for both, and you use the brush for your lymph. So if you think about the kind of treatment that I do in this room, I work with the fascia and the tissue, and then my three-pronged approach, the Windsor part of the Windsor method of the reflexology, is all about the setup of your reflexes throughout your whole body, and then it is to do with your lymphatics, and it is also to do with your hormones, and it is a formula that I have completely put together by myself. But if you're unable to come into this clinic and have that, then the brush will work similarly for your lymphatics, not for the whole thing, not for the whole three-pronged approach with everything, but to work your lymphatics alongside the gun and the glove. That is a perfect formula for change, for sculpting, for releasing congested tissue, for working your lymph. So this is why I am so passionate about you guys using the tools as a conservative method going forward for your lipedema and for other ailments that you've got in your body. Okay.
Kaz, what a wealth of knowledge. So as you can imagine, there's a few questions coming through just on the brush and the gun and the glove on where to buy them from,
Okay.
which ones. Of course, we've got people, joining from Australia, from the UK, from Europe. So
in my bio, there will be the ones that, so it's through Amazon, and the gun through Amazon in the UK, you can get that gun. But I have found the gun in the US with the same piece, and I have found the gun in Australia, which I can give you guys the link, with the same piece. I've had to do the research to find all of that. The brush you can get on Amazon as well. I'm gonna briefly come on. I see so many questions coming up about the body. I left this with the arms and the legs specifically, but if you follow the same guidance for your abdomen and doing your abdomen, then that is the same formula that you would use. The only difference is when you use the gun, you do not go across the body. You go to the center and you come out, because we don't want to go across the sternum. So we're just going to come in and go out, come in and go out. On the lower part, which is the more fattier part, you can use the gun all the way across. But you use it on level 1 and you use it very lightly. But the gun has been a staple in my routine for the abdomen as well. So going back to the question, you can get all of these things on Amazon in all your countries.
Stephen, you might be able to find the link from Kaz's bio and pop that in the chat if that's helpful.
So the glove, the brush, and the guns are all on my Amazon, all in my Amazon store.
Thank you so much for that. All right, let's jump into the questions if you're happy to do that, Kaz.
Yeah.
All right, amazing. So does the massage gun help with the pain that runs down the outer calves?
Yes. So when you use it the first time, you're going to think, oh my God, this is so painful. But once you've used it 2 or 3 times, it will release the tissue. The reason why you are in pain is the congestion in the tissue. So it's kind of something that you need to persevere with. But this is why we say use it on level 1 and use it very lightly. Don't be pressing into your tissue. Use things lightly. This whole disease is not about pummeling the body. It is about using things to be able to restructure and guide the lymph and the tissue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Can I use the half moon head on the massage gun and or can you use other heads on the massage gun?
So this has been a question that I've been asked a lot of. I don't like the other heads for fascia work. I have tried them and I don't see any kind of movement in the way that I see it with the crescent head. So the crescent head with the nodules.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
what you're all looking to use. And the reason, I'm just going to briefly bring it in. So the reason for that is this. So that is the face blaster, and you can see how the face blaster is made, and you can see that the nodules on the top here are what I was using, but I wanted something very similar in the gun. Okay. Yep.
Great. So why is there a different approach while hand massaging and using the massage gun?
Different approach with what? Sorry.
Between using your hands and using the massage gun. Why the different approach?
It's not a different approach. It's literally if you want to do massage, do massage. If you want to use the gun, use the gun. It's
Yeah.
it's a difference in self-care. It's not everything in self-care fits everybody. So it's not one size fits all. There's different approaches to different things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like whatever works specifically for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same with diet. Like not everybody's going to be a carnivore or keto, or not everybody can be that because of who they are. So you have to find what works for you.
Absolutely. Why don't you use the gun on lymph nodes?
So your lymph nodes are very, very delicate. And I think personally, some people might, but my personal opinion is it's too pressurized.
Thank you. I apologize. My camera is going on and off. I'm just trying to like collate the questions and I don't want to be distracting. Kaz, what do you mean by fascia lines? What are they?
Your fascia lines are what creates the structure in your body. So your fascia takes up 98% of your body. It's a structure that holds all of your organs and your systems. And that system of tissue, which is like a matrix of tissue, becomes congested. And so by working the fascial lines, your lateral, your functional, your superficial, your spinal, you are able to, and I know a lot of people don't like the word that I'm going to use, but you can clean the layers of fascia. There are 8 layers of fascia. I have probably got through maybe 3, maybe 4 layers of fascia since I started working on fascia in 2017. So it's a long process, but it's worth it, 100% worth it, because it helps to heal many areas of the body.
Yeah, great. What's your opinion on the fascia blaster? Should we use that just lightly?
You should only use the fascia blaster when you're ready to use the fascia blaster. If your skin is inflamed, if it is tight, if you are struggling with pain, those are things that you need to take into account when you use them. I have got a piece in my presentation about these tools because I am very concerned that people use them and they use them in the wrong way. When they are used correctly, they should not be painful at all. Including and when you'll know when your body is ready for those types of tools. And the other thing that I would really stress is that I am a fascia therapist qualified, and I would stress that you go to a therapist who is qualified in using tools.
Absolutely. Okay. I swell whenever I sit too long as well as standing. Like you, mainly in one leg. So whenever I do long car journeys, it lasts for days. Would I use the massage gun whilst
Yeah,
traveling en route?
yeah. So you would use the massage gun and you would use the brush. And you could use that. I mean, I've put a post out this morning with using the massage gun on top of the new micro massaging leggings that I've got. Because I have so many people ask, can you do these tools on top of your compression? And the answer is the brush, you need to be very careful with, but the gun, yes, you can. And it certainly works in a way that helps to reduce any of the congestion that is being caused. Especially, I have the same issue if I'm sat in a car for too long, and my left leg, the lymphedema leg, fills in with fluid and inflammation. You best believe everything comes out my bag and I'm on it straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Do you recommend using the vibration plate?
So it's a question that I'm asked on a daily basis. And for me personally, I would not use the vibration plate, but then I am a 9 out of 9 on the Byton score for hypermobility. And one of the things that I find very difficult with the vibration plate is that the movement of vibration very much so knocks the joints. And so a lot of women, especially a huge percentage of women, have hypermobility with lipedema. A lot of my clients do. And some people get on well with the vibration plate and some people don't. For me, it was something that just didn't work. It actually made things worse.
Again, so it's one of those things like different for everyone.
And I can see down there that there's somebody asking about rebounding. Again, it's not something for me because even in this clinic, I've got special flooring where I have to get up and down to my clients, but the floor is padded so that I'm not on a hard surface, constantly up and down movement with my knees and my ankles and my hips. And touch wood, since I've been carnivore, I have not had any inflammation since the second week of January. But that doesn't mean that the hypermobility has gone away. What it means is that I am controlling the controlling the inflammation and protecting the tissue. By treating the tissue, I'm protecting the tissue from inflaming and getting tight, because if the tissue gets tight and you hyperextend in those joints, that's where we have an issue. So for me, rebounding is an absolute no, but lots of people do it.
Okay, and do you think the mini trampolines are good?
It's the same as rebounding.
Yeah.
So everybody has, and this is what I've just said, it's not one size fits all. My illnesses run into hypermobility, EDS, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, da 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 da. Your illnesses run into whatever you've got. And so you have to think about what works for you. And my whole life of 21 years of living with these illnesses has been trial and error to see what works.
Yes, absolutely. Um, Kaz, do you recommend lymphatic, like, as well as, do you recommend lymphatic draining massage using a machine?
Like a pump.
Yes, I would assume so. Yeah.
Okay.
Because then the
So,
next question as well, just to build on that, would these techniques replace a compression pump?
so we don't have access to the pumps really in the UK. They are so expensive. I think they're about £5,000, £6,000 to buy. And so it was not something that was obtainable. Having spoken to people who use pumps, they seem to work better for lymphedema and not pre, but post-op work. So if somebody had lipedema and they had surgery, the pump will help with fluid and inflammation, but that's pretty much it. So I have got clients in here who have spent that money on getting pumps, but they are in here all the time for this treatment and rarely use the pump. So I can't really give a specifics on that because we don't have it here. So I don't know is the answer. I would say that my treatment, my self-care, the gun is a fantastic tool to have in your toolbox, and it works. If you are consistent, you will have results.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the same. Like it's a similar situation in Australia that the compression pumps are fairly
I've just seen that there's a whole bunch of
expensive.
questions there asking about the cups, the cupping, which I've brought in the last couple of months. I would not do cupping on a person who has got acute chronic inflammation, full stop. So you would need to have very loose skin, and it needs to be less inflamed before you start doing the cupping, because cupping will inflame you. It is a treatment, it will inflame you, and if you are inflamed, it's just going to add to the inflammation. So I have said no to several clients until they are more reduced in their inflammation, but I do have some clients in here who are very loose in their tissue, and that's something that I'm going to briefly talk about in a second, and it works. So just going back to what I just said about looseness, a lot of people are coming to me with questions about the looseness in the skin. To have the looseness in the skin, which is less inflammation, it's actually better. I know aesthetically it's not something that we necessarily are looking for, but then that's when like the larger tools and things come in for fascia therapy, because that helps to build your collagen and elastin naturally, not by taking things, your natural collagen and elastin, and then that will be able to build back. So you're healing your collagen and elastin in the body, that then helps to strengthen the fibers and tone and sculpt the tissue. So if your skin is really tight and really inflamed, and then it becomes looser and you're concerned that it's become looser, it's actually a really good thing. And when we think about it, lipedema is a loose connective tissue disease. So operative word, loose. That's something that a lot of you ask me on a daily basis. So I just wanted to go over that with you. Okay.
Thank you, Kaz. Now, if you don't mind, we might do a little bit of a subject change just for a moment because we're running to the end of the session, and there was also quite a few questions submitted on social media. So a little bit of a subject change, but we'll do our best to get through everything. Any specific tips for postpartum?
Lymphatic drainage.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
big one.
So I do have women in here postpartum, and you would wait a while to work on the tissue, but the drainage part you could do straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I keep seeing ads for colored light therapy. Do you have any experience of colored light therapy for lipedema?
Colored light therapy or infrared therapy? Are we
This says
talking about
colored, this says colored
light,
light therapy.
light therapy?
Sorry?
Is it like red light therapy?
I would assume so. This says colored light therapy, but I would assume red light.
Yeah, I have got a red light therapy light at home that I use for my joints. So if I have issues with my joints, I use it for my joints.
Okay. And you find that helps?
For my joints, yes.
Yeah.
Not for the, not necessarily, I've not seen anything happen for lipedema, but I have for the hypermobility and efforts down loss side of things, then yes, that has been brilliant. A friend of mine brought that in to me about a year ago, and she told me to get in contact with a particular company, and that was a bit of a game changer for me.
Yeah, amazing. I just have seen one appear, thoughts on cold water therapy.
So I'm a cold water swimmer. I started cold water swimming in 2022, wild swimming, sorry, in 2022. I'm now a cold water swimmer. I have a Lumi therapy pod at home. I look for any opportunity to do a plunge because it's helped me reduce inflammation and swelling in my body. But not only that, it has boosted my immune system. It has helped me to heal my brain. My mental health is in a completely different state because of cold water swimming. Yeah, you're out in nature. What you know, you're out in nature. You're swimming above the sun, or it's raining. I mean, I love swimming in the rain, and it is just powerful healing.
Yeah, invigorating.
So I would advise people to try it. And I know that my charity, Talk Lipoedema, for June Awareness Month in Scotland, they are actually doing a cold plunge or a sponsored something, but it's cold water. And that makes me so happy because
Oh,
people are
wow.
seeing that these things work. I'm about to try a new therapy room next week, which has got a sauna, hot tub, cold plunge, the Pulsio leg pumps, which I've been asked to try. So I will be giving some feedback on those. So that was what that person asked about, the leg
Yes.
pumps.
Yeah.
Those more the Lymphapress ones. These ones apparently work in a very different way. Like they're very different. So I'm intrigued to try those. So any opportunity I get to do those things, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Pardon me, when you dropped weight, did your skin sag and did your routine tighten it over time?
Yes, my skin is not tight at all. It's tighter than it was. But yes, it has taken a lot of years of understanding fascia therapy, and it's getting tighter now with the cupping. Cupping has been a bit of a game changer. I was trained in cupping in 2021, but because I was so inflamed and I was having issues, when I tried it, it didn't work for me. Now I realize why, and that is more to do with more research that I have done over the last the last few months, and talking to professionals as well, and realizing that you can only do these things when the body is ready for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a process.
It is a process.
Yeah. Um, what is the most important self-care tip to get started with for someone who is brand new to this?
So I get asked this a lot in podcasts, conferences, roadshows, and things. And I have done many interviews, and I will stick to my guns. When in 2015 I was diagnosed, I found the dry brush. Everyone should have a dry brush with the notes. Every single person. I started with the dry brush, and the dry brush to this day is my best friend.
Mm. That's very clear. Any particular strategies to assist with lipedema that is most symptomatic around the glutes?
So dry brushing again. If you dry brush in an upwards motion up your glutes, that will massively help. And pull into your groin, into the lymph nodes in your groin.
Thank you. Which is better, walking or strength training?
Huh. Walking is brilliant for anybody. However, for people with hypermobility, and especially the level of hypermobility for me, walking has become, it is the one thing that really upsets me, is the lack of understanding with hypermobility that just movement can affect your knees, affect your joints. And the same goes for strength training. The kind of strength training that I do and the kind of walking that I do is Nordic walking. So I would use poles. Every day walking, that's different. But if I'm going to do actual walking, then I would use poles because that takes away from the pressure of my joints. And for strength training is back in 2019, I was working with a trainer called Johnny, and he taught me how to do super slow training. So he taught me how to what's the word I'm looking for? He taught me how to use my muscles in a way that affects them without them. I can't remember what it was called. That's going to annoy me now.
That's so annoying when you forget a word.
I can't. Oh,
Is it slow tempo? Someone has suggested.
Slow tempo of using the muscles, but it's
Mind to muscle.
Yes, so whatever that's no, not restricted training. So it's like mind to muscle movement, but instead of using heavy weights, you use really, really light weights that help to that help the muscle to
resistance training, overload training.
No, it's where you squeeze into the muscle and you're using the muscle to move you're using your muscles to move the weights rather than you using your joints.
Yeah.
There's a word for it. It's not restrictive. So you're using your muscles to move rather than using your joints to move. You're using your muscle to bring things up, but you can even start doing things without even having a weight in your hand. You can even pump into the muscle just by using the word that I'm looking for, but I can't think of it. And you will be able to build your muscle literally with nothing. And the word's going to annoy me. I'm going to end up putting it in my stories today and tagging you all into it.
That's okay. We'll circle back to that. That's fine. I'm just going to jump in quickly as we are going a little bit over time. We'll do our best to get through as many as possible. However, there's like a few questions coming in more on exercise and diet and nutrition, and just bearing in mind that we'll keep it on topic to self-care and massage this evening today. Kaz has a lot more info on her Instagram and her stories and her TikTok. Stephen and Brittany will pop the links.
Isolation. Isolate. Thank you, whoever that was. They put isometric. You isolate into the muscle so that you don't even have to use weights, but you can isolate your muscle. I do this swimming. So if I'm swimming, I will isolate into my muscles, breaststroke, which opens up my whole chest, which opens up my muscles. You can see that my arms are not even moving, the tightness that I've got going on in my arms. So you can isolate into your muscles. If you isolate into your muscles, you can build muscle. Okay.
Thank you.
So otherwise it was going to drive me nuts for the whole day.
Well, we had a lot of options there to choose from. All right, sorry. So just to jump in again quickly, we'll take a couple more questions as we're now going over time. So pop those through if you have a couple more questions. Stephen and Brittany will link Kaz's Instagram and socials. Of course, this is all being recorded, so you will get the info emailed to you. And as well, at Lipoedema Surgical Solution, Dr. Chris Lekich does also do monthly Zoom calls. So he jumps on every month on a Zoom call. You can ask as many questions as you'd like, and he assists people from all around the world. All right, so a couple more questions. How is hypermobility diagnosed?
It's really difficult to get it diagnosed. So I saw a rheumatologist who then sent me to musculoskeletal. So if you're looking to find somebody who is going to help you with hypermobility. The operative word you're looking for is musculoskeletal, and you can't go wrong. Then you'll be heading into the right direction. Sometimes it does take a rheumatologist to get you there. I literally went to my GP. They took me to the rheumatologist, and from the rheumatologist to musculoskeletal hospital, and then I had tests, which are the bite and score tests. And I scored a 9 out of 9. I'm a reflexologist, but my fingers are completely, and my elbows, like they just literally bend backwards. My knees bend backwards. So go and see a musculoskeletal therapist. Physio, you all know that I have Adam as my physio. I've taught him pretty much everything to do with lipedema. He's taught me everything to do with hypermobility and pre and pro perception in tissue and everything, which has massively helped. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we have a couple of people just jumping on saying, thank you so much. I have to get back to work. So yeah, we'll let you go and get on with your day. And Kaz, I know you have a full clinic after this today. So
yeah, I can hear the first one outside the door. So
oh my gosh, so you have people waiting already.
Not dressed for clinic, so we're gonna be doing it as we are right now, so I can just get the day started. So yeah, it's fine.
Oh, well, we will let you go and get on with
Thank
your
you so
day.
much.
Oh,
Thank you so
thank you, Kaz.
much.
This has been such an amazing collaboration.
The idea of knowing that there's thousands of people on here right now who are going to listen to my guidance and hopefully take this on board and use the self massage technique. Like I've written it out, I've put it on a sheet. You guys have got that for free. You guys have got my presentation for free. You're looking for answers, and I'm giving you those answers. What I want from you today is to take action for your own health.
That is so true. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and for being such an inspiration for us, Kaz.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Have a lovely
Bye.
day. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Bye. Do I
Bye.
go? Okay.
You can go. We'll all go.
Thanks, Kaz.
Right, okay.
Thanks, Kaz.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Stephen.
So
Thanks,
good.
Rick. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.